I want to welcome you to this lesson, dear viewer. This is Primary 5 syllabus that we are going to be covering. Primary 5 Term 1 has got 5 topics that we are going to cover. And in these topics, we are going to be following our books that we have. And in this very particular lesson, we are going to be discussing from page 1 up to around page 12 there. So kindly be with your book and you follow the lesson as it's going to be flowing. In the 5 topics that you have in term 1, today we are beginning with the first topic, which is the location. We're supposed to cover location of Uganda. Location of Uganda. That is from the map of East Africa. After this, in our book, we shall be moving to the physical features that we have in Uganda. Physical features. From physical features, we shall go to the climate of Uganda. From the climate of Uganda, we shall move to vegetation in Uganda. And from vegetation, we shall be having natural resources. So these are the topics that we are going to be discussing in this term 1, that is in our subject of social studies. So we are going to begin looking at these topics one by one, and the first is location of Uganda. So we are going to have, we are calling it topic 1, location of Uganda on the map of East Africa. First thing we need to note is, what do we mean by the term location? What do we mean by the term location? Anyone to give the answer? If you know the answer, you are going to write it together. The term location refers to, location means, or you say location refers to a position where something, is found. Which means we are going to look at where do we find Uganda, and we are saying we are locating Uganda from East Africa. So that is the first definition that we have given in our lesson. The term location refers to a position where something is found. Next is, we are going to go back to our lessons that we had in the previous classes, that is primary 3 and primary 4. You will find that when we were in primary 3 P4, we learned about locating places, and majorly we were understanding how places can be located, that is using a compass, using physical features, and very many other things. Now, before we come to that, let's have a subheading. Because we are locating Uganda, so we are going to look at maps and pictures. Maps and pictures. Now we are going to define the two. They are always, we have ever defined them, but today we want to put, to also just go through. This would be revision to you. Now here we have two. We have a map, and then we have a picture. Let's first understand the difference between the two terms. Now a map, we define it as a drawing of an object as seen from above. A drawing of an object, we can say a map is a drawing of an object. A drawing of an object as seen from above. As seen from where? above. There is something you need to take serious note of in this definition. Most of us children, when you are asked to write this statement as seen, someone ends up writing it as one word, as seen. Instead of writing as seen, someone can write as seen. And when you do this, this will be wrong. I want you to be very careful when you are defining a map. A drawing of an object as seen from above. It is as seen, not as seen. Let's grab this. Then we have the other one is a picture. So what do we mean by a picture? What do we mean by a picture? A picture, we have the same definition, a drawing of an object. A picture is a drawing of an object as seen, not as seen, but as seen from a side. A side is a word. Do not separate a from side. There you'll be writing a side, but you are saying a side, which means this is a drawing of an object as seen from a side. The difference we have here is, for a map, we were drawing an object the way it was seen from where? Above. Which means you draw something the way you see it from above. While for a picture, we are drawing it the way we see from a side. That can be a difference if you are asked to tell or state the difference between a picture and a map. You say a picture is drawn from a side, while a map is drawn from above. But if you are asked to give the similarities, you can either say both, or you just simply say both are representations of objects, because they're not the real objects. So that is what we can say about this. Now, which means that here we are having objects represented. We can represent these objects the way we see them from either up, that is above, or from a side. So we are going to look at some of the representations, some of these pictures and maps. Representations. Some of the representations. Here we are going to give just a few of them, just to make us understand that our concept of being seen, meaning drawn as it's seen from above, then drawn as seen from a side. Here we can have one, a picture. Then here we can have its map. Let's give examples. If we want to represent something like a tree, you will find that a tree, we shall have the picture the way it's seen from above, from a side. So you will find that we can have our tree represented like this from a side. Then when it comes to its representation, that is its map, that is seen from above, you will find that one is drawing this tree the way it's seeing it from above. So one will be able to see the root, the top of that tree like that. So for that we shall have got the representation, the picture of a tree and a map of a tree. Just like we have said, this one is drawn as seen from above, this one is drawn as seen from a side. Another example I want to give is, if we are to have another object, for example, we are going to have a house. We have a house here. This is a picture. Now, when it comes to us representing this picture, the way we see it from above, you will find that the map for that house, we shall draw it the way we see the roof from above. So we shall have something like that. That is what we mean by a representation of something as it is seen from where? from above. Next is, if we are to have a hut, let's draw a hut. A hut is a grass-thatched house. This is what we call a hut. Here you can have the grass, a grass-thatched house. This is the picture of that house that we call a hut. Now what happens is, if someone is to draw this hut, the way he is seeing it from above, you will find that the roof of this hut will appear like this, circular. Then we shall have these kind of shadings showing now the grass moving from the tip, from the roof, going sideways rather. So that is how we can represent a picture of a hut. So we have also very many other objects that we can represent in different ways. Now, stay in maps, we are going to understand what we call types of maps. Types of maps. Types of maps. Now, with the maps, we look at what the map explains. Like, for example, we can have a map which is showing us physical features. That map, we can call it physical maps. A physical map. We can have a map showing administration, like a map of Uganda showing districts. That one is now a political map. Political map. We shall also understand that we are going also to have a map, like a map of Uganda. I told you that we are also going to talk about climate. So you can have a map of Uganda showing the climatic regions. So that one is the one that we can call a climatic or climate maps. Climate maps. So those are some of the maps. Then you can have thematic maps. Thematic maps. To continue with our lesson, having understood the types of maps, we are also going to look at what we call a sketch map, because we are going to realize the difference between a map, then we have sketch map. Let's have our next heading as sketch map. Now, a sketch map, by definition, is that map which is drawn without scale. A map drawn without scale. A sketch map is a map which is drawn without scale. A sketch map is a map which is drawn without scale, which means that it finds one difficult to get the scale or to calculate the ground distance of this map. For that, we go to another subheading that we looked at in the previous classes. Elements of a good map. Elements. Sometimes we can call these components of a good map. Now, the elements of a good map are the things that a map should have. Things that a good map should have. which means these are the elements, these are the things that will enable a map reader. When we talk about a map reader, we are looking at any person who can be having a map and is to understand what is contained in that map. The map helps him or her to understand what is there. So those are the elements that we call elements of a good map. They are the things that enable a map reader. Can be you, can be your teacher, can be your friend, any other person who is trying to understand a given map. You are called a map reader. So we are saying the elements of a good map are things that will enable a map reader to understand a given map with ease, which means you will be able to understand this map easily. That's what we simply mean. So can we go through these elements of a good map? I believe we are just revising what we learned in the previous classes. So element number 1 of a good map is a compass direction. A compass direction. Not a compass, but a compass direction. We shall understand the difference. So this is element number 1. Element number 2, we have what we call a scale. We can call them map scale. We can have a map title. Map title. Let's call this one map scale. Map title. We can have the map key. We can have the map key. Then we also have, we have given the compass direction. We can have the boundary. We can also add here boundary. So we are saying these are the elements, these are the things that enable a map reader to read a given map with ease. Without them, someone cannot understand. You will just look at something, but you will fail to understand what it's about. So that will be bad. Now, the other challenge that always children make is we have the elements of a good map, and then we have qualities of a good map. The problem is when children are asked to state the elements, children go and talk about the qualities, which is wrong. So when it comes to the elements, we list them. These are the ones. Coming to qualities, that's when you can bring a sentence saying a good map should have a compass direction. A good map should have a map scale. A good map should have map title. A good map should have a map key. A good map should have the boundary. These are the qualities. But for the elements, we simply give this. So in our discussion, we are also going to include, to understand these one by one. And first, since we are having a compass direction as our first element, then we are going to first of all talk about it. Then we shall come and talk about a map scale. We shall talk about a title and these other ones. All of them, we are going to finish them in this very discussion. So keep tuned. So we are going to have our subheading. We have said we are beginning with a compass direction. A compass direction. Now here we are going to look at the two things. We have what we call a compass only. A compass. Then we have a compass direction. Now a compass is an instrument. An instrument. A compass is an instrument used to show directions or used to locate places. Used to show directions. That is how we define a compass. An instrument used to show directions of places. Then we have a compass direction. a compass direction. Compass direction. This is now the element. This is the element of a map. Remember, we have called these elements of a good map. This is the element of a good map. Element of a map used to show directions, to show or locate directions. So that is the difference we have between a compass and a compass direction. This compass is drawn when we are representing it. We draw it using this kind of symbol. This is the symbol for a compass. And remember you said in the previous classes that when this compass is at rest, this needle here, this compass needle points to the north. That is what you also need to remember. When at rest, the compass needle always points to the north. Then the other one is, this one is for a compass. It is a symbol for a compass. Then we have the compass direction that we are saying it is an element of a map, which is used to show directions. That is the one that we draw. We have the first two. We represent by having the first four rather. We have the first four major points of a compass direction. This is north, that it faces. Then we have got east here, south, then we have west. Then in between the two, first of all, these first points, these major points here, are the ones that we call cardinal points. Remember that. We learned about this in P4 and P3. Those are the cardinal points of this compass direction. They include, we have seen, this is north. We are having east. Then we have south. And finally we have west. These are the cardinal points. Another word they can use to mean cardinal is primary point. So if someone did not use cardinal, one would use primary points. So if you are asked, write down any two primary points of the compass, please, these are the ones that you are giving. Then in between the cardinal points are also other points that you are going to understand. For example, between the north and the east, you will find there is another point, another compass direction. Between east and south is another one. Between south and west is another one. Between west and north is another one. So at the end of it all, we shall be having also these other ones like this. We are going to give them also their names. But before we name them, there is a general name that we are going to give them also. Just like the way we gave these ones, theirs. So how or what are we going to call these ones? If these ones were cardinal points or primary points, then what are these? So our answer is, these ones are the ones that we are going to call semi-cardinal. Semi-cardinal. If we can't use semi-cardinal, then we can say secondary. Not again primary. These are now the ones we call secondary points. Secondary points. Let's look at their examples. We are saying between the north and the east. This one gives us the name northeast. Very simple. Between north and east, we shall have northeast as a compass direction. Between the east and south, which one are we having? Someone might be thinking of beginning with the east. No, we begin with this major line here. This is the one that gives us. So we can either say northeast or southeast. This one determines. So we are having here south east. Which means even when we come to this side, this is between east, between west and south. We can't say west-south. No, we are saying we begin with this. So we are having this as south, then we go to west. Then between north and west, we have northwest. So that is, these are the ones we call semi-cardinal points or secondary points. Examples, we are having northeast, southeast, we had southwest, and finally northwest. So these are the examples of semi-cardinal points that we have also called secondary points of a compass. Please, you need to be aware of that. Like we have said, a compass, these ones are used for locating places. The other thing that we are going to discuss, to share, is which group of people need this instrument that we have called a compass. So we are going to have our heading, groups of people who use a compass, groups of people who use a compass, in their daily life. Groups of people who use a compass in their daily life. So we are to share which groups of people, who are these people who use a compass when they are doing their work. One, we have sailors. Sailors, those people who sail. You can call it ship captains. Ship captains. You find that when these ones, when they are on water, they use that instrument that we call a compass. Next is we have what we call mountain climbers. Mountain climbers. When these ones are climbing a mountain, they go with this compass that it will be able to give them directions where to pass, so that they don't get lost as they climb the mountain. Then the other one, we have tourists. Tourists. Those are people who go and visit some areas. Sometimes they need a compass to guide them, to give them directions on where to go. Then we have rally drivers. Rally drivers. This one, in case you are given to write and you only write there drivers, we shall cross you. Because not every driver. Your dad can drive the car, drive his car from home to work. Mommy can drive going for shopping. Do they use a compass? No. So we are only looking at the other rally drivers. Those are the ones who use a compass. So you need to be very careful, and when you are writing these answers, that you don't make errors. Now, 2, let us go to another element of a map, and that is, according to us, we have what we call the scale, map scale. So let us have our second one as our next subtopic of discussion, map scale. Now, a map scale is the element of a map which is used to calculate. I want you to get it right. This is the element of a map which helps one to calculate. Some people make errors by saying a scale calculates. A scale itself cannot calculate, but it's you to calculate. So what does it do? It helps you, it helps a P5 child, it helps a map reader, it helps anyone to calculate the actual ground distance. The actual ground distance. That is what you need to note. A scale helps one. I want you to adopt this beginning right now. A scale helps one to calculate the actual ground distance. Don't say a scale calculates. No, a scale alone cannot calculate. Now, for us to be able to calculate the actual ground distance, there must be map distance given. There should be the map distance, which means that if we are having, for example, we are having a map of Uganda here. For example, we are having a map of Uganda here, and they are saying in this map we are having point A, and then we are having point B. I hope you are seeing it well. There is point A, and then there is point B. So, someone will ask you, you are going to calculate the map distance between these places. And they can say, on the map, this one can be like 10 centimeters. So now it's your work to calculate, not the scale. The scale is given. They will give the scale like maybe this can be maybe 10 or 100 kilometers. This is 200 kilometers, which means according to how we read this scale, this one means 1 centimeter representing 100 kilometers. It can also be written like this: 1 centimeter representing 100 kilometers, or 1 centimeter to 100 kilometers. Please, I want you to take serious note of that calculation. Now, if we are given the scale, like we have said, the scale is given. Now you have to calculate the ground distance. The good thing is that even the map distance will either be given, or sometimes it will not be given to you, but you will get it by placing your ruler. Then you can now estimate from here up to here, from your ruler, that can be 10 centimeters. That one you will get it. So we are going to calculate the ground distance of these places. That is between place A and B. So that we understand how do we calculate, how does a scale help us. So we are going to calculate. In our formula, we shall say, we shall be following the distance given. I mean the scale. If 1 centimeter represents 100 kilometers, that's the first statement. 1 centimeter represents 100 kilometers. What about now the 10 centimeters given? What about the 10 centimeters? Implying that these 10 centimeters will be multiplied by the other 100. The 10 given, we shall multiply it by the scale, that is 100 kilometers, and our answer will now be in square kilometers. So when we multiply this, 100 times 10, we shall be getting 1,000 square kilometers. Therefore, the actual ground distance between point A and B is 100 square kilometers. That is how we can simply calculate the scale of, the actual ground distance using the scale. Now, when we're giving these drawings, it means that we have types of scales. Types of scales that can be used. One, we were showing the line scale that we can also call linear scale. Linear scale. This is the one we were showing like this. Can say this can be 0, this can be, you come up to here, this can be maybe 10 kilometers, you come, this can be 20 kilometers, you continue, maybe this can be 30 kilometers. That is what we call a linear scale. That is how we draw it. Then the other one, we were representing what we call the statement scale. Statement scale, that one is to explain, like you can say, let's write statement scale, a statement scale, which can read like 1 centimeter representing maybe 10 kilometers. This is a statement. And finally, we shall be having what we call fraction scale. Fraction scale. That we can also call the ratio scale. The ratio scale. The ratio scale, we can have, this can be in either a ratio form or in a fraction scale. For example, we can have it fraction, maybe 1 centimeter representing 100 kilometers. Or it can be written as in the ratio form 1 to 100. That is the minimum. This can be a fraction, whereas this is in a ratio form. So that is how we represent all those are the types of the scales that we are having. The other elements of a good map that we have not yet discussed, we have others like a title. Let me rub so that we shall be able to see what we mean by a title. We are remaining with the title and the key. These are the ones I want us to discuss. Now, here we are looking at a map title, just like we understand a title. Like when you are going to begin a lesson, you can have your date. After writing the date, you can put the heading or title. So I have also given you another word we can use. We can use this. We can say a heading, map heading, or we say a map title, which means this is the element of a map that it tells what the map, element that tells what the map is all about. Remember we said these elements help a map reader to understand a given map with ease. Now if a map has been drawn, for example, we are saying if we are drawing the map of Uganda and you will find that it is not given, there is no heading given, you will find that it becomes very difficult for one to understand what is this about. If, for example, a diagram is sketched like that, so you will find that someone cannot understand what this map is all about. So the person has to first read what is written, and the title is always written here on top of the map. Title can say map of Uganda, showing, let's give an example, map of Uganda showing, can be showing lakes. This is our heading. So if someone is reading this map, someone will see and like, hey, you mean this is how the map of Uganda looks like? And it's showing lakes. So someone can be able to understand when he follows reading this map. When he sees things drawn, will be able to know that these are the lakes which are in where? Which are in Uganda. So this is what we mean by a map title. So someone will be able to follow like this, and the person will be able to understand that, hey, this is a lake, this is a lake, this is a lake, this is a lake, this is a lake. We shall come look at these lakes when the time comes. So, like I said, the map title enables a map reader to understand what the map is all about. Then to add on this, the other one, the last element probably that I'm going to discuss with you is the map key. The map key. It is a very vital element of the map that we cannot end our lesson without mentioning. Now, the map key, this explains the symbols. The map key explains symbols used on a map. It explains symbols used on a map. For example, you'll find that a map can be drawn like this, and it has very many things drawn. We have seen there are these which are drawn like this. You can find it can also be having other symbols drawn like this, like this. Others can be like this. Let's understand this. We have those ones that look like triangles. Then you can also find that there are other features which are shown on this map. There are others joining. So we shall be able to understand that this one now will not again be for only the lakes, but now we have brought in other things. So these ones will now be physical features. Map of Uganda showing physical features. Showing physical features. Showing physical features. We are giving this as an example for us to understand the symbols. So, in our diagram or in our drawing, the map key is always drawn, that is under the map itself. And we write there, key. Like I have said, this one is going to explain what symbols are used on this map. One, we had the symbols which are drawn and they are shaded like this. And we say these ones that we shaded like that, these ones here, are the ones that we call the lakes. Then we have also added, we have these which are represented like triangles. We have others represented like this. So someone will also be able to know that these ones represented like triangles are the mountains. Then we have this that we represent by these drawings here. These are now, we can also bring them now here, and we shall have something like this. We draw them like this, and this can be reversed. So in the end, we shall be able to note that on the key, we represent symbols or features or things that were on the map, so that we can understand here. So when a map reader is reading this map, he sees this and he asks the key, what does this mean? A mountain. What does this mean? A lake. So a person will be able to know the features or the symbols which were used on the map and what they mean. Question is always asked, why are map symbols used instead of drawing real objects? One, the real objects cannot fit this map. So it will bring congestion. So to avoid congesting the map or to avoid overcrowding the map, we represent these features using symbols, and we do that on the key. That for now is what we can discuss. When we meet again, we shall be continuing with our lesson, with our topic. It has been nice having you being part of this lesson, and I wish you the best. Bye-bye.